This is the second in the series Beginning Programming, where we're learning how to program in Octagon. For more information, visit jb.works and at the search prompt enter the TMT code shown at the bottom of the screen. So in this video we're going to learn what it is that you need to be able to code. So to make a computer program you basically need three things. One is some hardware on which to run your software. So in our case that hardware is a JackBord, and this is what you're going to run the programs on. The second thing you need is a programming language, and this has to be a language that your hardware understands, because if it doesn't understand it, you can't program in it. And in our case, it's going to be Octagon. And then finally, to make life a lot easier, you need an editor which will help you to do your programming. And in the case of the JackBord, that's the program page on the dashboard. So now we'll look at each one of these in turn and just get an idea as to what they are. So the first one is the hardware, and this is the electronics that will run your program. So as I said before, in our case, it's the JackBord. So this is what will run the program. And Octagon runs on the JackBord. The second thing we need is a programming language that your hardware understands. And in our case, it's the Octagon programming language. And so this is the language that we'll use to tell the JackBord what we want it to do. So a good question is, why Octagon? The whole purpose of Octagon is that it's specific to the JackBord. That's all it needs to worry about. It works well with the JackBord. And this is similar in a way to why Apple Macintoshes are so brilliant. And one of the reasons that they are so brilliant is that the Mac OS only has to worry about Apple hardware. It doesn't have to care about anything else. So they're integrated beautifully, they work just beautifully. Whereas Windows, on the other hand, has to run on literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of hardware. All the different manufacturers, laptops, desktops, the whole lot. And that means you've got to make a lot of compromises, so things get more complex. And the other thing about having Octagon as the programming language for the JackBord is that it lets you take advantage of all of the inbuilt hardware really easily and really nicely. And that just makes things so much easier when you're trying to achieve a goal and you don't have to worry about all the hardware interfacing, all the libraries, all that kind of thing, because it's just there. And then finally, all of these things make learning programming easier and more pleasant, because you spend more time programming and doing things than you do trying to figure out why one library doesn't want to work with another library, etc. So my main motivation for writing Octagon was it's got to be easy to learn, but it also has to be powerful. It should not limit you. And then finally, we need an editor. And so what the editor does is it knows about the language that you're writing in, and it helps to highlight the text, it helps to format things. It also does things like make it obvious when you've made a mistake in your typing, or it helps you to run your code. So a good example of this is this program. So this is an Octagon program just in a plain text editor. So it's just text. And it pretty much all looks the same. Whereas that exact same program over here in the Octagon program page editor looks much better, because you can see very, very clearly all the different parts of the program, where the commands are and the variables. So the program editor's job is to really help you to write better code and just make that whole process easier. So what we're going to do in the next video is start by exploring the program page, which is where you'll write your programs. And this will be the start of your programming journey. For more information, just visit jb.works.